to Toss the Titles Down Under Dynasty with your hosts at Live from the Ben and with me, as usual, my co-host at FF Doormat. How are you today, Matt?
Well, I'm doing wonderfully well. Just excited to be talking to you this morning, US time, this evening, around here. Excited to talk a bit of Dynasty, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Just traveling nicely.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. That's what I do.
LTD. Living the dream, LTD.
So that's a beautiful backdrop you have there, sir.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, just did a bit of renovation. The man cave.
Yeah.
Virtual background. We actually do have that. I sit on the piano in our living room, but the rest of it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the kids' study, so thought I'd change it up a bit, distract from my rough-looking melon.
Ah, you're a handsome lad.
True that.
Very true.
Trying to keep up with you.
How's work and the kids and all that?
Yeah, mate, going well, going good. So it's been pretty full on. I had a few people that have been away and been sick and whatnot for a while. So crew's all starting to come back and so it's starting a bit of normality. Yeah, kids are doing well. Nice. How about you, mate? What's happening?
I don't have any kids.
working the missus. No kids. You got a dog. Work, missus. Keep you busy.
Yeah.
You want a couple of kids?
Pardon?
You want a couple of kids?
No, not right now.
23 first. I'll give you one to take him.
No, we went away last weekend and ate up a storm. And yeah, now it's back to the. I've been in the office 3 days this week. I'm not going the next 2 days, but that's the most I've been in a row in, I don't know, 2.5 years.
It's a shock to your system.
Huh? It's actually nice to get back in the office again and see people, and yeah, but I'm glad I'm not doing it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'm in every other day, so normally 3 days a week, 2 or 3 days a week, and normally have a break between. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy getting. I couldn't make it today. We've got a massive train strike in Sydney, trains and buses, and on the Harbour Tunnel there was an accident too, so it's chaos. But yeah, it's, it's nice to get in there and see people, get a bit of energy, have a coffee, have a break from the kids and the puppy and whatnot. So yeah,
definitely. And now on to our NFL news and Jimmy G and his new contract. Should the Niners have done this? Is it undermining Trey Lance? Do you have any Trey Lance concerns off the back of this news?
I think, in today's world in the NFL, if you're, feeling fragile because they brought back Jimmy G on a cut rate contract after they've, spent multiple firsts to trade up and get you, maybe starting quarterback in the NFL is not the place for you. I think it's a little bit overrated, all this talk about, how it's going to affect Lance, and it reflects that they've got no confidence in Lance. It was just a no-brainer for me. There was no trade market because of his shoulder injury and his salary. That's what's been reported. Only sort of Seattle were interested, and the 49ers weren't going to release him to Seattle. So why would you, create $16 million cap space and have a great backup quarterback if, Trey Lance gets injured or whatnot? I think that's all it's for. I don't think it's because they haven't got faith in Trey Lance, because they're still making $16 million cap space. So what's $8 million to have that? Come playoff time if your quarterback gets injured or something. That's if they keep him long term.
Yeah, I reckon it's a bit of a non-story as far as Trey Lance is concerned. QB1, baby.
QB1.
Yeah.
They could turn around and trade Jimmy too, right? Like I think we're saying off air. In some ways it makes him more tradable.
Yeah. A lot more likely to think, $6.5 million. It's a lot easier for teams to fit that in, right?
Yeah, I think it was like a 1.3 mil a game or something before that. Something ridiculous. I saw some figures floating around, but no trade is not no trade, right? It just means
Just means he gets to
Russell
pick.
Wilson. He's going to have to agree to it to waive it. So yeah.
Roster cuts. And it's a sad, sad day for our tallest titles compatriot. Nuno. With Dynasty Diamond, Marlon Mack getting cut by the Texans. So I guess this is even more wheels up for Damian Pierce. How do you feel about Pierce?
Yeah, look, I have seen multiple trades where he's gone for a 23 first plus. I would smash the accept button if I'm selling Pierce for that. No, I think he's probably. I've got a few rookies ahead of him, and I know a lot of people that say they couldn't pick him in the first round. I'd be picking him just to sell him, just to flip him for that 23 first, because he has looked good, on tape. And now with that Mac News is getting another bump. So whether or not you believe that he's, should be taken that first round, you can easily get a 23 first. Depends on your league, right? But I've seen multiple leagues where he's gone for 23 first plus. I think one was Calvin Ridley, 23 first and Calvin Ridley, and a first and a third. So yeah. How about you? What's your take?
My take, don't really have a Damian Pierce take. I don't think I have any Damian Pierce at all.
I've only got him in a redraft. No Dynasty.
No Dynasty?
Got him in Scott Fishbowl and the EFFC European.
I'd have to check my leagues, but I don't believe I have any. I certainly wouldn't be paying his price now. Would you be?
You've got to cash in if you got him, right? Yeah, I couldn't pay the price either. But if you got him at the, in the third round or end of the second, and you can get a 23 first, I'd be cashing in. Yeah, but no, I couldn't pay
it. You got to do anything, right? If you're a contending team and you picked him up and you think that he can legitimately help you on a ship, you don't
got to, but
yeah, I think it's
a start him, I guess.
Maybe every week.
Not my Kraken squad, let me tell you.
That's lucky.
Next minute, I'll have six injuries. I don't own him anywhere except for a redraft, which is a bit annoying because you can cash in on that spike. But yeah, Marlon Mack moves on. I think Nuno's still got some hopes for him. Who knows where he'll end up? But that's just a reflection of NFL, right?
Yep. And Sony Michel, man, this is just, I don't know. I feel sad about this.
Had such high hopes when we came out of Georgia and the Pats picked him up. Just had massive hopes, and then he, a few injuries and just, couldn't quite get together. Looked good at the Super Bowl, had a great game in the Super Bowl. But yeah, never really worked out. And then he looked all right last year too. So who knows? Does he make his way back to the Pats or somewhere else on a cut price contract? Decent pass blocker and can contribute, I think. So he'll probably bounce around somewhere, but I wouldn't be too interested from a fantasy perspective.
I just don't get it. Like, he had a decent year last year, and he had a decent year the year before.
He was good last year. Yeah, he was great last year. Yeah, not great, but he was solid, right?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Especially maybe not from fantasy, but you're talking about real NFL. I guess that's a vote of confidence for Akers and Henderson.
No, he's not on the Rams. He's on the Dolphins.
Yeah, sorry. Get with the program. I guess it's a vote of confidence for. Yeah, I guess it's a vote of confidence for Chase. For Chase Edmonds. Yeah, look, he's still been great, right? Not great. He's still been solid. He's still been good, a good contributor, and with that pass blocking, you think he could contribute somewhere. So, yeah, I wouldn't be reading too much in it from a fan perspective, but a little bit puzzling.
And finally, Alex Leatherwood, a 2021 first round pick, 17 overall, cut from the Raiders today.
Cut.
Oh, yes. Cut.
Gone. And that's pretty amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's
You know?
pretty much hasn't looked good in the field. But for that sort of draft capital to be cut, makes you wonder if it's something else. Is there something else attitude wise or something there? There's been a fair bit of chat in a T2T group chat today about draft picks and certain fan bases without rings in the past 20 years trying to dump all over the Pats. And rightly so, they've been pretty ordinary, their draft picks, but at the end of the day, it hasn't bothered them too much, right? So sometimes I think it can be a bit overrated.
I'm just shocked
in the grand scheme of things, but that is pretty. I can't think of another first round pick being cut in such a short space of time. There probably has been, but just off the top of my head, like even Harry, he floated around for a few years, right? So
yeah, I mean, it was only one year ago. This guy's an Outland Trophy winner, and I know that the Raiders reached on him at the time.
It's not his fault, though, is it?
No, not his fault. He still would have been probably a minimum like a third round pick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you expect a third round pick to turn into something, but 1 year and cut. I mean, and then some of the players that come after him.
Well, the thing is too, like I think
Bateman, Elijah Moore, Javonte Williams. I mean, Barrymore has been good for the Patriots.
Been very solid.
It's just crazy, man, to me.
I think the thing that when they drafted all these guys too, Gruden was that's the character. We're drafting for the character. We're drafting for the character more than the talent, right? They want to get that leadership character winning sort of feeling in the building. So very strange that even though Gruden's obviously gone, very strange that he's been just cut, right? Like you would have thought that he could have been given another chance to maybe turn it around. But yeah, maybe there's more to it. I guess the last piece of news, too, Benny, we haven't, it's not on our show sheet, but the running back that was a victim of the shooting, Brian Robinson Jr.
Brian Robinson, yep.
Yeah, I think it's good to see him on the mend. Looks like he had a couple of lower injury. Got shot in the buttock and the lower leg, I think. So he's looks like he's going to make a swift recovery. So look, you never know. You never know when your time's going to come. So good to see he's okay.
Yeah, look, but apparently he tried to get the gun off one of the guys, one of the kids. Apparently it was two.
He's wrestling him, yeah. He's wrestling him, right? Yeah.
Right. And then one of the other ones shot him. The other kid shot him. Like,
yeah,
it's just a car, man. It's just a car.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say, right? To you, a little bit of an echo. It's hard to say to you in that situation, but yeah, for me, I'd just be like, I'm going to fill it up for you. Here's my wallet too, and my keys and whatnot. So maybe it was maybe his partner was in the car or something. Who knows? But yeah, it could have been a lot worse, right? It could, young man could be dead.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe it was just instincts. I don't know, but it's just a car. I'm sure it's insured, right?
100%. No, I know what I would have done. Thank you very much.
You just don't know. It's just not worth the risk.
Kids are in the car or something, or his missus is in there, or you just like say you don't know. Could have been taken by surprise, and he's just done it out of a reaction.
Yeah, possible.
So totally I think, possible. Look, not that it matters, but he hasn't been ruled out for the season yet, and that's only a concern because you don't want this to be taken away from him. It was not his fault, right? He was the victim of a crime, so it'd be good to see him back on the field, enjoying his football career as soon as he can, sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, hope that he gets back. Hopefully this season. do we talk about the fantasy impact? Because I mean, Antonio Gibson was dead before this in some people's minds, not mine. I always thought it was going to be a minimum, like a shared backfield between the two of them. But who's there now? Didn't they also waive Jarrett Payton?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see who they waived come in overnight. I think.
Yeah,
but yeah, look, he's obviously it's got to have a bump, right? On Gibson, it's got to give him a bit of a bump. Whether they bring in Sonny Michel or Marlon Mack or whatnot, I think there's a big difference from a studish rookie to a seasoned veteran. So either way, it's a bit of a bump in the short term for Gibson, I think.
And what would you do if he's performing? Would you trade him or would you hold him?
Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably try and cash in because I think the writing's on the wall there, right? Every chance that, he starts seeing more and more carries when Brian comes back. So I'd probably try and wait till he has a couple of good games and maybe cash in, try and get a younger back or a different situation or just some draft picks. What about yourself?
If I'm contending, I'll hold him. If I'm not contending, I'll look to trade him.
Come on, that's a boring answer, mate. Come on. You love yourself some Gibson.
Yeah, but at this point, you got to hedge, man. You got to be smart.
Got to hedge a bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up having no Damien Pierce shares.
I mean, if he has a good year, he's got probably another year left tops. I don't know.
Yeah, they bring back McKissick. They brought back McKissick as well, right? So
yep, they did.
There's a little bit of competition there, even with Robinson gone. So
and so should we get on to the reason we're all here today? And by all here, I mean you, me, and the one person watching this right now on Twitch, apparently.
Me, myself, and Irene on Twitch. We're big on Twitch. We're pretty big in New Zealand. You've seen our ratings. Kiwis love us. We love the Kiwis too. Dynasty do's and dynasty don'ts. That's what we're talking about, the do's and the do-nots.
Do's and the do-nots.
I think this time of year we're starting to come into the regular season. All that draft talk is over. Few pivotal things that we should and shouldn't be doing, and then just some general fantasy advice for what you should and should not be doing. From our perspective, do whatever you want, right? Like there's no rights and wrongs. You do whatever.
What are you talking about? This is the Bible everybody should live by. The Bible. Okay?
The Dynasty Commandments.
What is it, 10 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4,
well, there's
5.
10 if we take out the first.
No, there's not. But it's fine. So let's start. Let's do the first one. And I think this first one is probably the most important one on the whole list. And that is do follow Toilets to Titles all season long. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And on your favorite podcast platform. We're delivering, the goods all season, Dynasty content, DFS content, redraft content. It will knock your socks off.
Right. IDP, Devi, everything, the whole 9 yards. Team cast thousands.
One-stop shop for everything fantasy football related. Okay? We may not have the salary of ESPN, but we've got just as many people.
Probably more. In all seriousness, there's nothing worse than when you got a quiet time in your garage working on your car or something, or you're on a trip, and you're just waiting for the next episode to come up. Toss the Titles episodes dropping non-stop around the clock. Not everyone's as great as us, but there's some good ones there.
On the big show today, Coach had Dane Brugler on. So they're getting superstars, okay? Superstars.
There's been a few big names on there. Bob Harris as well, a few others. That was pretty good to redraft. Spectacular. I went on and went QBX in redraft, and it was a bit of mayhem, but I had fun, and I think it was some good value there for what to do. If someone does start nabbing these quarterbacks, how to approach it, right? It's a Superflex league, and I think I took 5 quarterbacks by the end of it. And, I felt pretty good about my team at the end of it because I could submit a roster. Didn't go 5 straight QBs, but, QB running back, a couple of wide receivers, QB. My other teams, I think one team had Daniel Jones as their only quarterback. So good luck with that. Joan Hose, 0 QB. So there's some great info on there with a lot of smart fantasy guests as well. Some really great analysts. So yeah, do follow Tell Us the Titles.
And do join our Patreon. Tier 1 is just $3 per month. That gets you in the T2T team group chat. Tier 2 is $5 per month. Early access to the waiver wire episodes. Entry into our Frankenstein Listener League and the T2T team group chat. And then, of course, there is Tier 3, which gets you all the above plus one-on-one draft advice. Tier 4 gets you everything in Tier 3, but it also gets you early access into the waiver wire episodes and free entry into our Frankenstein Listener League. Free. Okay. One-on-one roster analysis, another perk of Tier 4 that is not in Tier 3. Okay. Tier 5, $20 per month. It gets you everything that's in Tier 4, which is everything I've already mentioned. And then, of course, the team will do a 30-minute episode breaking down that league, talking rosters, draft, trades, more. Everything.
You can ask anyone in the team too for that one too, right? It's not you don't get stuck with me and some other muppet. You can pick and choose from the cream of the crop.
Yep, so cream of the crop.
Bonus.
Awesome sauce. And now let's continue with the do's. Do honestly judge your own team. If you think you're one player away, you're probably not. What you want to do is look at your team and probably compare it to some redraft ADP. Or there's lots of tools out there that indicate the strength of your roster. For example, the one on the Dynasty Nerds website that you can toggle between dynasty value and winning right now that will give you a real indication of how close your team is to being able to win a championship.
Yeah, Dynasty GM, that tool that's good. It's a great tool. Just because it gives you that independent reference, it'll give you a score out of 1 to 12. Not score, but it'll rate the teams 1 to 12 on value, and then, like you say, you can switch it to contender, and if you're mid-table, maybe you're not as close as you think.
No.
Yeah, I think that's
we all overrate our own teams, right? We all look and go, oh man, like if this guy breaks out and if this happens and if this happens, my team could roll. But how often do all those things really happen?
Yeah, more often than not, they're not going to happen, right? How many hits are you really going to make in that rookie draft? Not every class is great, and not every pick is going to stay on the field. So, I think it's good just to, maybe if you someone else that you trust, you can ask their advice too. Ask one of your league mates. Say, look, what do you think? Give me some advice. Or you can reach out to the guys on Tell Us the Title. Hit us up. Tweet at us. We'll give you a bit of advice as well. But yeah, I think it's really important just to try and just get that honest feel of where you are, so you can adjust appropriately.
Lots of ways to do it. Find the way that works for you. Now, do ensure that you're the first team to identify who has decided to rebuild midway through the season. I'd even go and say, I think a lot of people nowadays kind of make that decision by week 4, right?
Yeah, definitely. If someone's 3-1 or 0-4, whatever it is, you want to be the one to take their prize positions off them when they're getting a bit emotional and have a bit of that rookie fever, and maybe they're willing to sell their studs that they wouldn't sell before. I'd be, you don't want to be second or third in when other owners have taken the plunder and got away with the spoils. It's a lot of volatility there when people's mentality just changes, right? And you can really not take advantage of the person, but just take advantage of that situation. It can be mutually beneficial. But it's good to be first in.
Absolutely. Agree 100%. And that leads into our next do. Do know your league mates' tendencies and settings. So you want to know the guy who's infatuated with the rookie picks every year as soon as he starts to, go 0-4 or 1-3. The tendencies of those league mates, and of course the settings of your league. But look, let's just bring it back to tendencies and knowing your league mates. I mean, some people are really trade happy. Some people, and I say it all the time, people make a trade and then it's easier to kind of get them to make another one. It's like trading begets trading. They kind of get all like, a bit excited on a roll, especially if they're trying to blow it up and rebuild. And they might accept something that they normally wouldn't accept because they kind of just want to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also too, maybe if it's an orphan that's coming to your league, sometimes we just get attached to the guys we're drafting. But if you're an orphan and you've just picked up that league, or maybe you've in a dispersal, there's a great bit of action there to be able to take advantage of that. So know who they are and maybe what they want, what their tendencies are. I think that's key as well. Just get to know your league. Some leagues, there's never any trades, right? Other leagues, you got a league mate like AJ, who's happy to trade most of the time willy-nilly. Not willy-nilly, but he's just very
streaky. He's streaky.
He's streaky, yeah. 100% he's streaky.
He might disappear for a few weeks and he comes in and makes 3 or 4 trades in a day and a half, 2 days.
Yeah, and some guys will try and squeeze you. Oh, give me an extra third. I want an extra fourth, and then they're going to squeeze you a bit more. And other guys will be like, "Here's my offer, and if you don't accept it, you come back with something else. They're just going to pull it." So yeah, it's good to know your mates if you can, because you can sort of know where you stand. And sometimes it's just not worth, asking for that third back just to get, where a good deal might get voided. You're better off just knowing your mates and taking that trade.
Yeah, agree with that. 100%. And next one, do know your scoring system. Simple, basic, but a lot of people overlook it.
Yeah, I think even though you're line up as well, right? Like you don't want to be down to one wide receiver if you've got to start 3, and conversely, some leagues we play in there, it's start 1 to 7. RB, wide receiver, tight end, or maybe it's a 2 tight end league. So just be aware of that. Sometimes you're in so many leagues, or maybe it's a new league you joined, you're not aware of it. You come in as the orphan. I know I've got stung out before there. So yeah, good to know your league, and you can even feed that in more to even tiers too, right? Maybe it's a Devi league with only 24 starters. It's a bit different to a Devi league with unlimited Devi starters or Devi draft spots.
Huge difference. Absolutely massive. Especially in leagues with all different lineup settings and Devi, that kind of information is really, really important. Especially for the value of trading picks. in the Devy leagues. Do grind the waivers. Please expand.
Do grind the waivers unless you're me and you're lazy, and then just go out and hit your Gronks and your Dalton Schultzes that get dropped with all your fab. I think this one, you're right, is great. Whoever you are, if you're one of these guys that's constantly just looking for, starters, looking a week or two ahead, putting in the work, you're going to profit. If not, there's a lot of great resources that do the work for you. The TDT Patreon has a special waiver wire episode that comes out. Like is it Monday every US time? But there is a special episode that comes out super early where the guys are giving you that advice, So even if you don't have that time to go through and, pull your waiver claims in ahead of time and really see who's available, I'd just say tap into some of those resources out there because you can pick up, some of these James Robinsons and I think Shane Hadlam was pretty high on him before he broke out. So, even if you don't identify the talent, you can just be aware of who's available, especially in some IDP leagues. I know you found some real gems in some IDP leagues we're in, just by hitting that waiver wire.
Yep, absolutely. Boom. And now on to the don'ts. Don't overthink good trades. Sorry, don't overthink trades. Good to think and look for trades. Huh?
Yeah, so I think sometimes we want to pull out someone else's roster and know there's a weakness here and their third QB is not that strong, or they're missing a tight end or something, which is you always want to try and do that. I think it's good just to look at the person's roster and see where you can make a trade. But if you can't, don't let that turn you away from making a trade. Maybe that person's on the verge of doing a rebuild and they're super high on someone that you're not, and they might just sell one of their starting quarterbacks for someone else. Maybe it's a super flex league. They've got two good starters. You can still trade for that quarterback. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but don't necessarily not send it just because you think it's not a need, because you never know what's going on in the person's head. Maybe they're just super tradey. Maybe they overrate your guy, underrate their guy, whatnot. So sometimes, I think it's good just to, not be too overly cautious with these trades.
Don't raid your league chat. Just mute it, bail, and take a minute. You'll have to expand.
All better options than raging. Like sometimes I like to have a whinge. Maybe there's a decision the commissioner's made that we don't agree with. Maybe someone's just robbed the cradle and just got an absolute haul for some stud. Whatever it is, there's a million different instances we've seen where people might, just say a bit too much in these chats, and these are leagues that we're in for a long time. So you just like we're in these leagues for fun, really. We're in it for fun. So you're just going to ruin a good time, and you're going to bring your league mates down and whatnot. Just take a minute, just walk away, mute the chat. If you need to, just leave the chat. Come back if there's league chat, or just don't rejoin. But whatever it is, I think there's just you're not going to get anything by spitting a dummy after it's been done. And if you do, you're just upsetting your league mates. So just a bit of consideration.
That is an excellent point. Not that I mean, guys, it's just fancy football. I just don't get upset about that anymore. I used to get
it's fun, right?
But now it's just just
just have a bit of fun.
Now, don't overvalue scoring, tight end premium, or bonus play for passing outs. So I mean, the tight end premium is pretty self-explanatory, but can you explain the bonus play stuff?
Yeah, anything like a big play bonus or whatnot. I think someone reached out to me, and not reached out to me personally, just they reached out on Twitter and said, how much you moving quarterbacks up for big play bonuses, that sort of stuff. You're gonna move Burrow up for whatnot. So I asked him, look, what's the bonus? If you get over 400 yards, you get 4 points. And so only 3 QBs got over 400 yards last year. Or sorry, not 3 QBs. 2 QBs did it 3 times. Brady did it 3 times. Burrow did it 3 times. So you're getting a 12-point bonus for the whole year. So sometimes I think we can just overthink it. These bonuses they can be a bit gimmicky, and most leagues a 4-point bonus is not going to win you or lose you that week. Sometimes they can, but 98% of the time it's going to be bigger than that 4-point bonus, especially when the best 2 quarterbacks to do it only did it 3 times that year. So obviously that varies for your setting. If it's a Frankenstein league, it's a massive. It's a bit of a unique league. It's a massive bonuses there that can really swing a game. But again, it's all relative too, right? Even if it's a 100-point bonus, you're only getting that 100-point bonus 3 times a year if you're the top guy, whereas maybe the second guy's getting it twice.
Yeah.
So
we're not playing rotisserie here.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Just have a bit of perspective, and tight end premiums a myth too. I think it's just a bit of a gimmick to get you to overvalue tight ends.
You reckon?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's Peter Overzet, Peter Howard. He's got some great stuff, some great articles on it. Basically saying it's a bit of a fallacy, and it's the bonus is not that much. Like your good tight ends are going to be good, and the rest of them are going to be the same no matter what. So don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
2 tight ends would be different, right? 2 tight ends are complete change. But if it's just a 1.5, you're getting an extra half point per reception.
Don't have take lock. Move on with new information. Oh man, look, I feel like you're attacking me right now. Corey Davis, man, he's going to break out this year.
Hey, but I put him. He's my breakout candidate. When they're talking breakouts for our breakout candidates, I don't think we could say rookies because that was a bit easy. So I went a little bit deeper. I just, I think he's a bit underrated, Corey Davis. But the point is just it's really hard, right? It's hard to do this because you just want your guys to hit. And then sometimes as soon as you draft them, you overvalue them, which can make trading hard and whatnot. So easy to say, hard to do.
I definitely have an issue where if I see it a little bit, it can take me a while, and then it just goes away. It takes me a while to unsee it. Like I was on Baker for a while because of that rookie season that he had, right? And then he has to come close to it again. And
it's a fine line. Is that take lock, or has he just been injured?
It was take lock by me. I think I would say it was take lock.
It was take lock. What about Diggs? I had Diggs in a couple of leagues, and just I just thought, look, I'm sick of waiting for him to break out. Moves on a bit early, and he's up and away. So yeah, look, it's a fine line between when to move and when not to move. But I think just again have some get some other takes on your guys. Look at the wider situation and
in the situation with the Diggs breakout, it took Josh Allen making an all-time legendary jump in productivity for the quarterback position in just everything really, just ability, accuracy, everything.
Even the team, right? The team just decided to pass an extra 5,000 times a year. Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
Yeah, no one. So maybe that's the exception to the rule. But yeah, don't have to take long, guys. Be better.
And this last one, which is probably the most important one, it's the reason Hatton is the fantastic Dynasty fantasy football player that he is.
Never.
Don't be afraid to take advantage of the new players, the rookie owners, the guys who are new to Dynasty, because if you don't do it, someone else will. And then you'll just be kicking yourself.
I think we've all been in a situation where, the first couple of years in Dynasty, maybe a little bit naive and we're trying to, educate people and play nice and whatnot. And I'm not saying you just want to, rape and pillage other players and whatnot and just, talk all their guys down, talk you guys up, But don't be afraid to offer some low ball players. Maybe you've got some information that not everyone's aware of, or some contract information. It's not that out there. Whatever it is, sometimes it's good just to pull that trigger, make that offer, because if you don't, life from the Ben's are going to sneak you in the back door and run away with multiple assets for a bag of beans.
A bag of beans. I've only ever walked away with multiple assets when sending elite prospects. Elite.
Define elite.
Like Joe Burrow.
No, I've seen you make some great trades for not as much, which is the move you want to make, right? You don't always have to. Not all trades have to be even. Not all trades to be fair. It's up to the other person to accept. As long as you don't want to be the guy that's talking, all the assets up when you don't really believe it. I don't think I'd do that, right? But if you want to do it, more power to you. I know some smart Dynasty players who'll come out and say that. Say, oh, I don't believe in this guy on air, and then they'll talk him up in the league chat. So do what you want to do. It's all a game. It's up to you. But the point is that if you're not cashing in, someone else is going to, and then you're going to be behind the 8 ball, so to speak, and then you're going to be a bit bitter about it afterwards. So shoot your shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot your shot, because you just never know. I mean, and what's fair to you and what's fair to other people, it's all different, right?
Who knows how the trade's going to look in a year's time too, right? Like maybe.
Yeah. I've made plenty of trades where I thought I was going to come out ahead, and then a year from now,
plenty. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, just thinking back to the trade I made in Kraken for OJ Howard. Oh man, it was like Dallas got it and like a first.
I've got it, but I don't think that's what I got it for. In that league, I think I didn't
got him now,
yeah. I got him now. He probably came back to you, but mate, to tell you how much he's fallen off, we didn't even have OJ Howard in noticeable cuts. He got cut, right? I think he's got 30 million guaranteed or something like that, and he's walking away with that. So, still have a bit of hope there that he might be something, but
be interesting to see what Goddard can do now with a full season of the starter. But then, of course, now they've got AJ Brown. It'd be
interesting to see how that impacts him.
Pardon?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that impacts him, having Smith, Brown, and then whether he's that second or third option. Maybe he's a bit more efficient, a bit less coverage.
Can he be 56 receptions off 76 targets? It's pretty fucking efficient.
It's not bad. Look, I guess it just depends too what they're going to do, right? I think the first 12, 13 games, Ertz was the QB1. They were passing a lot, and then they just started running the ball. So
73% catch rate.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. I think, yeah. But I reckon he tops out, about last season's production. 830 yards in 15 games. I reckon he does that, but he'd probably do that over a full season with AJ Brown in the lineup.
What was he tight end? What was he tight end?
I
7,
couldn't-
something like that. There. What does it matter really? 7, 8, 9, 10, all same.
Yep. 6 to 16. Isn't that different?
Pretty much. Yeah. No, we've all made trades going back and we've all made trades like that we're walking away with an absolute steal, and then Josh Rosen happens, or a couple of back-to-back injuries, and you'd reverse the trade now. So yeah, you just never know.
You never know how it could play out. So we're not long to go to the start of the season. So we'll only have
setting time.
Lineup setting time
happen.
is just around the corner. We'll only have one more show, but there's no games to talk about. And then it's go time.
It's go time. Countdown. 3 a.m. wake ups. Here we go.
Well, the first game of the season's on at 10:20 a.m. here.
Yeah, Friday be okay. Friday be nice. I took the Monday off just so I can get up. Always try and watch the first Red Zone and whatnot live.
Yep.
So I'm off that Monday. But yeah, just waiting to see how the cookie crumbles for the Patriots.
It's funny that's the week, I mean, it's exciting, I guess, because it's starting right, but it's probably the week that means the least as far as the importance of the games, right? Because you've got 17 other weeks to make it up again.
Yeah, look, you just don't know too which teams are still trying to put stuff together. Some teams are slow starters, some teams are fast starters. So, certainly be exciting when that first Red Zone starts kicking
Absolutely.
in. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap it up for the night?
I think that's it, mate. I think we covered it well.
All
episode
right.
45 in the books.
Done. Not until episode 50. It's probably taken us about 100 weeks to get there, though.
Hey, mate, it's like a fine wine.
Sorry.
It's getting better with age.
Hey, well, absolutely. We'll be regular this year, though, week on week. All right, then. Bye, everyone.